Welcome everyone to our financial aid live stream. We are super excited to welcome you into our session today. My name's Sarah and I'll be moderating this session, and with me today I'm joined by our financial aid team. We have Danielle Aspin and Linnea Cook here, who are all-star, all knowledgeable, all about financial aid, so they'll be able to share all of that information with you tonight. We're super excited for the path that you have ahead of you, and we look forward to sharing all of the reasons why Trent has consistently been ranked a top undergraduate university in Ontario. Tonight, we're going to start off with a presentation from Danielle, and then we'll have some time for all of your questions. So if you do think of some questions throughout the presentation, please go ahead and use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. You can type in your questions, and either Linnea will get to them throughout the presentation, or Danielle will answer them after her presentation. So I don't want to take too much of Danielle's time right now, so go ahead and get started whenever you're ready, Danielle, and I'll be on the back end to help out if you need me.
Sure. So I will go ahead and I will get my screen up here and we'll go ahead and get started. So everybody should be seeing my home screen. Thumbs up, Linnea. We're good? Yes. All right. So as Sarah mentioned, my name is Danielle. I work in the financial aid office here at Trent. I work out of both the Oshawa and Peterborough campus, so you can come visit anytime. What we're going to do tonight is we are going to chat about funding your education here at Trent. So let's get started. So we're going to chat about what is financial aid, how much does it cost to come to university, and then we're going to talk to you about how to afford that. So we'll chat about our scholarship program. We'll also chat about our bursaries. We'll look at OSAP and then other resources outside of the university. I do have it noted there that this session is for domestic undergraduate students only. As much as I would love to talk to all the international students about their scholarships and bursaries, it's just not handled by our office. So Sarah or Robert will go ahead and pop that information in there for you if you are an international student, so you can get in touch with the right people. Now, Sarah did mention, if you have any questions, you are welcome to go ahead and pop them into the chat. We have Linnea there. She'll take her time and she'll answer them for you. My other team member has joined as well. So I see Steph on the call now. So she'll also pop on and answer them. And then Sarah and Robert will take care of any questions that you have about Trent itself. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing is, who are we? We are your money ladies here at Trent. That's kind of how we're referred to at open house events. We are the office that administers the scholarship program, so all that free money based off of your grades. We also administer the bursary program, so free money based off of financial need. We do the OSAP program, so even though you apply for OSAP through their website, we're actually the office that is going to administer that program. And then we have a little hand in work study programs. So the beautiful thing here is there are a bunch of jobs reserved on campus, both Trent Peterborough and Trent Oshawa, for students who are in receipt of OSAP. That's our Trent Work Study program. These jobs are 10 hours a week, $2,000. The beautiful thing about these jobs is that they're flexible. So them being 10 hours a week, you might have a really heavy academic week where you need to do 2 hours one day, 3 hours another, maybe 5 another day. As long as the hours are met, we're happy, you're happy, so you're getting that flexibility. The other wonderful thing about these programs is because they're on campus, you could be a chemistry major and get a position in a lab. So now you are networking with your professors, maybe guest speakers. You're getting all of that extra hands-on experience working in the lab that you may not get working at a Tim Hortons or Walmart. So you're kind of padding your resume. So that's a wonderful thing with these jobs. If you are interested in them, the postings typically go up the term before. So that means they'll start looking for fall students during the summer period, and then they start looking for winter students during the fall period. So you would take a look at our Career Center and all of the job postings would be there. So how much does it cost to come to Trent? So we're going to show you the big scary numbers. You can see them there. You can see the tuition itself is $6,100. That's the cost to just get you into the classrooms. And that's the cost of a general arts and science program. So that tuition number is flat rated for the Peterborough campus, a little bit of flexibility with our Durham campus if you are billed per credit. The fees you can see is $1,900. So that would include things like your campus card, your health benefits, your transit pass, all of that would live within that fee cost. So you can see just to get into Trent to pay for that first year, your tuition and fees, you're looking at about $8,000. Now, we do want to put some numbers into the budget in regards to books and supplies. So we do estimate $1,500 for books and supplies. That would be you taking 10 classes, so 5 classes each term, roughly about $150 a book. That can be a little bit low depending on what program you're going into. You might be going into nursing, and some books may be more than $150 per term, or sorry, per book, not term. What you want to do is take a look at buying used books. Take a look at some of the Facebook groups for previous students. They might be trying to offload some of their books. Take a look at Kijiji, student associations. You can even chat with the bookstore here on campus. They do have the opportunity for you to rent books. So instead of buying the book, you could rent it for the term. You can't mark it up or anything like that. And you have to return it, but it's a fraction of the cost of the book being brand new. The biggest expense that you're going to incur when you are going into post-secondary is going to be where are you living? At home, we estimate $4,200 because we know you're living at home, you're not freeloading, you're still going to be contributing in some fashion, whether it's you're paying for your gas or you're paying your cell phone bill or you're contributing towards groceries. You want to be honest with yourself and still put a number in there. $4,200 would be about $400 a month for the 8-month academic year. So be honest. Maybe you still want to go out on a Friday night. You want to go have pizza or go to the movies or whatever it happens to be. Make sure you are putting a number into that at-home expense. The second cost that you see there is away from home. So it is huge. This number is stuck in my head, $17,610. This is the cost of a premium room in our Zosky residence at the Trent Peterborough campus. So premium room meaning single occupancy. So you are on your own. Is that the cost that you want to spend? These are the conversations you're going to have with yourself. Maybe you can bring that cost down and you can have a roommate. So maybe it comes down and now it's $15,000 or $13,000. Or maybe you want to live across the street in our annex buildings, and those are about $10,000. So you would share a space with 3 other people, but you're getting the same experience of living on campus. You're just slightly across the street and you're saving a little bit of money. So these are the conversations that you are going to have with yourself and with your parents. You can see that it can cost anywhere from $13,500 up to $27,000 to go into post-secondary. So I've given you the big scary numbers. You're probably in a panic mode a little bit. So now what we're going to do is look at how we can afford that. So the first thing we're going to look at is the timeline that our office here uses for all new students coming into Trent. Right now, you're applying to colleges and universities. So if you've done that, you've probably seen the create an OSAP profile link. Please do this link. It is going to save you so much time later. It will actually pull all of that information that you have in those application systems into OSAP for you, jump-starting the applications. We also have our prestigious scholarship applications. So this application, I will show you later, did open in November and does close in February. So these are our higher valued scholarships. We then start sending out scholarship offers from March to August to all of our high school students and transfer students. As we start to get those grades, we want to let you know what you're tracking towards. We're going to guarantee you a scholarship. From July to August, we have entrance bursary applications. July and, oh, I said July and August. I read ahead and didn't read the right thing. June and July. So during the summer, we're going to have entrance bursary applications. July and August, the tail end of the summer, you're going to look at external awards. You're going to have a summer job. You're going to look at that work study program. You're going to start saving some money because you know what lies ahead for you. September and June, we have our in-course bursary applications. So the whole point of this list is to try and fund as much of your education as possible with money that you don't have to pay back. Scholarships, bursaries, working, all of that is free money that you don't have to pay back. So let's take a look at the first thing. We have a big announcement. Most of you have probably already heard that our scholarship program did change this year. Super fantastic. So you guys coming in the 25-26 year will fall under our new scholarship program, which is all increased values. So super, super awesome. Our Trent entrance scholarships, they have gone up. So if you are looking at Trent, you have to have a minimum admission average of 80%. There is no application for our entrance scholarships. You will automatically be considered for them. If you are coming straight from high school, we're going to look at your top 6 4U4M level courses, and we're going to get that admission average calculated and see where you fall on the bar. The goal is to hit at least an 80%. If you have an 80% to an 84.9, you will be offered a scholarship at $1,500. So this has gone up from our previous years. The scholarship is renewable for up to 4 years of undergraduate studies. So that means each year that you're studying, you have the opportunity to renew your scholarship at that same value. If you look down at the bottom there, you can see any 95 plus students coming in. We are going to offer you full tuition. So not the fees, but the tuition, that bigger number, $61.18 in your first year. And then you can renew for years 2, 3, and 4 at $4,000 each year. So super awesome. Hustle now, work hard. You can see the higher that admission average, the higher your scholarship potential coming in. So remember, it is renewable for up to 4 years of undergraduate studies. To renew, you just have to finish 5 Trent credits with an 80% or higher, and you will renew for the following year. So that means if you are coming in at that 95, you only have to hit that 80 to renew again for the following year. The next thing that we'll chat about is our prestigious scholarships. So super exciting. This program also got amended this year. It is the first time it has been changed in 20 years. So super, super awesome. All of our values have gone up for our prestigious scholarships. These are application based because we only give out 13 of them. This year, we're actually giving out 15 because we're going to give out 2 of the Michael Treadwell, but typically it is 13 per year. You only have one opportunity to apply for these, and it is on your entrance year. So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. Don't assume it's going to be a no. Let us tell you that because you'll still be eligible for one of our entrance scholarships, but definitely apply. These scholarships, the application is posted through your My Trent portal under the Finances tab. It is open right now. It does close on February the 16th. You can see the values for our prestigious scholarships are higher than our entrance scholarships. So they start at $4,500, go all the way up to $7,500, and they are renewable as well. So that means it's not just one time. You have the opportunity to renew it for up to 4 years of undergraduate studies. Now, I will tell you, when you are doing these applications, they are looking at more than just grades. They get presented to a committee for selections. So what we want you to do is tell us about yourself, brag about yourself. Tell us everything that makes you wonderful. We already know your grades and how fantastic you are there, but now we want to know about your extracurricular, your volunteer experience. Put all of that into the application. So when it goes to the committee, you make it really hard for them to not select you. Okay, so remember, posted through the My Trent portal now, closes February 16th, and they are renewable starting at $4,500 all the way up to $7,500. So free money based off of your grades. Now we'll chat about free money based off of financial need. You need to remember that scholarships is academics and bursaries are financial need. To be eligible for the bursaries, students must be in receipt of OSAP or comparable government student aid. So if you're coming from out of province, you would have student aid or possibly you're band funded. You do have to complete an application to be considered for a bursary. They are not automatic. You could be showing need, but you need to apply for them. So the first opportunity is going to be our entrance bursaries. We have 3 of them. We have our general entrance bursary, our athletic entrance bursary, as well as our Joyce Family Foundation. The key word on these are entrance. You only have one opportunity to apply for these, and it is on that entrance year, so you don't want to miss out. The application will open in May and close in July, with us starting to assess you in May, so you'll have an idea of what you're eligible for. The general and athletic entrance bursaries, they range anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Our Joyce Family Foundation, this one is still relatively new to Trent, very, very generous donor. It will go to 4 students and it's $5,000 each. So make sure you're applying for all of those. Take advantage of that. Never assume it's going to be a no. Always apply for everything. When you are here in classes, we have our in-course bursaries. So we do our bursary program every term. fall, winter, and summer. If you are studying all 3 terms and you are in receipt of OSAP band funding or out of province funding, you are eligible to apply. Financial aid is very consistent. We post our applications in the same spot, the same time, every single year. So it's always within the first week of classes each term, September, January, and May, My Trent portal under the Finances tab. And they range anywhere from $100 up to $1,500 a term. Now, if you're not eligible one term, it doesn't mean you're not eligible another term. So again, I'm going to repeat myself, apply every single time that you can. The next one on the screen that you're seeing is the City of Peterborough Award. So this one is directed to our students in Peterborough High School. So if you are coming from a local high school in the Peterborough area, we do offer the City of Peterborough Award. The application will open in May, closes in July, and it goes to the top 2 students from each local high school with an 80% or more, and it's $2,000. Do not think that, oh, Sally is going to apply and she has a 90% average. What happens a lot of the times is you think that you don't apply and Sally didn't either. And then it doesn't go to anybody. So make sure you're applying for it. The last one on the screen is the first generation and Indigenous student bursaries. We get money from the government every year for these specific student groups. We open these applications in January, so in the winter term, through the My Trent portal under the Finances tab. And they can range from, I believe it was $250 last year. I have seen them go a little bit higher, but if you are meeting that criteria, you can apply for first generation and Indigenous student bursary as well. Okay, so you've been given money based off of your grades because you're all super awesome. And now we've given you money based off of your financial need. So what we'll do is we'll chat about OSAP. I can't go into as much depth as I would love to with the OSAP program, but what we're trying to do is just highlight it for you. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about the OSAP program. So we try and just show you some of the screens, some of the questions, what a funding summary looks like so that you have a general idea when you do apply for OSAP when it opens in April. So what is OSAP? OSAP is a combination of loans and grants. The loan portion is what you would repay when you complete your studies. So when you cease to be a full-time student, 6 months after you cease to be a full-time student, that's when you would enter repayment. And your grants is the free money. So that free money will stay free as long as you do everything that OSAP asks you to do, which is file your taxes, stay in good standing, and pass all of your classes. The loan portion would be the only part that you would need to repay. OSAP is a combination of loans and grants from both the federal and provincial government. It is calculated based off of a lot of different variables. So they look at parents, they look at students, they look at the school costs. So there is a much bigger picture going into the calculation. If you were to visit ontario.ca/OSAP right now, you can actually play with the aid estimator. That's what you're seeing on the left-hand side of the screen. Please just don't lock that number in as to that's exactly what you're going to get. The aid estimator doesn't confirm any of the numbers that you're putting in there. So they're really just doing an estimate based off of what you've entered. They're not double checking any of those. So it's not fair to lock it in as to that's what you're going to receive. The best way to know what you're eligible for is to actually do a full OSAP application, let it run its course. You'll get an assessment, and that information will actually transmit into the financial aid office here at Trent so we can help troubleshoot it for you. So if the assessment looks off or you're not quite sure, we'll be able to see that information and explain it in more detail for you. You can see the little highlight at the top. The application for OSAP opens each summer. So the summer before your fall starts. So the application for 25-26 should be open the end of April, early May. The link to OUAC, if you haven't done this, please do it. What it does is it takes all of that information you've already entered into the application system and pulls it into OSAP for you. So it's creating some of those profile tombstone data, your name, your social insurance number. It's also going to pull in all of the school information. So if you're applying to Trent, it will pull that in and have Trent as your school and also the program. So essentially completing step 1 of an OSAP application for you. So go ahead and do this. If you choose not to do the link, you do have to register as a new user on the OSAP website. If you do that, just be careful with how you're entering your information, that you spelled your name right and you've entered your social insurance number correctly so that OSAP can verify all of that information. You can see that the OSAP application itself is only 4 sections. So if you do the OCAS OUAC link, you will see you've completed step 1, your school and program. That information will already be pulled in for you. Section 2, all about you. It should be a pretty easy section because nobody knows you better than you. You can see some of the sample questions down there at the bottom. When did you last attend high school? Do you want to identify as a student with a disability or an Indigenous student? What is your status? Where will you be living? And what is your citizenship status? The biggest question in section 2 that we see a lot of review for is where will you be living? If you answer the questions as if it's September and you are planning to live away from home, then you would make sure that you indicate that you're living away from home. If you've answered it that you're going to live at home, but then things change over the summer and you need to update that question, you would contact a financial aid office and we can help guide you to make sure you're doing the right review so that can be updated so you can get assessed for some rental costs. Okay. Section 3 is all about your family. If you are coming straight from high school, you are considered a dependent student and you will stay dependent until you are at least 6 years out of high school. That means parental information has to go onto the OSAP application. So you will go ahead, you will include parents' information. Into section 2, it'll ask their name, their social insurance number, and their income. So they will need some of that information from CRA, like their notice of assessment for 2024. The last section is the submit section. When you get to that, you will see a bunch of wonderful little check marks. Before you click submit, you just want to make sure that you've answered all of the questions correctly. There are hyperlinks all the way through the OSAP application. So if you do get stuck and you're not quite sure, click the hyperlink, read the information. If you're still unsure, save the application and contact a financial aid office. You do not want to click submit on an OSAP application if you're unsure about information, because once you do click submit, it's gone into our office and you can't make changes without us intervening for you. When you do click submit on the OSAP application, it will run its assessment. At that point, it will also populate your required documentation. So you will need signature pages for yourself and for your parents. And you will need to complete a Master Student Financial Assistance Agreement. Super wordy. What it means is you need to provide your bank information to National Student Loans. National Student Loans works like OSAP's bank. So they're the agency that's going to deposit the money, but they're also the agency that you will repay when you go into repayment with OSAP. Now, you let the OSAP run its assessment. You don't have to submit this documentation right away if you just want to see what you're eligible for. But know that OSAP can't get released until that documentation is submitted. So you want to make sure you're monitoring your OSAP if you do want it to help fund your education. What you're looking at right now is an OSAP assessment for a current student here at our Trent Peterborough campus. It is based on a household income of $85,000 with 3 children and 1 in post-secondary. So you can see the student's been assessed to receive $20,000. 7,700 of that is grants and 12,000 is loan. If you look at this funding summary, and it's July and August, and you just found out you got a really great scholarship, you're getting one of those prestigious, you're getting $7,500, you've worked really hard in the summer, so you got a lot of savings, and you look at this and you go, I actually don't need the loan. You can go ahead and opt to put that loan on hold and just have that grant funding released. So that means you got that great scholarship, you have all that savings, you get your grant money, you studied, you passed all your classes, you filed your taxes, you were super awesome. You essentially went to school for free because you didn't take any of that loan on. But let's say you start to experience some hardship in January and February. Maybe you need to move, maybe your car dies, whatever it happens to be, you can actually log back into your OSAP and request that loan money be released out to you. If you do that, you're taking on that loan, you can go ahead and use what you need, tuck it away, repay it when you go into repayment, or you can pay it back to OSAP when you are done your studies. But that option is still there for you. There are 3 points down at the bottom. You are not getting all of that $20,000 in September. There are some other screens in the OSAP application that's going to show you what will be released out to you during the study period. You get 60% of your funding in the fall and 40% in the winter. So if OSAP is part of your funding, You want to put that into your budget so you know how much you're getting each term so you can plan ahead. The second point, the funds are automatically released to the school first. So we're getting paid first. It used to be that it all went to you guys, but we had some students that weren't paying us. So they kind of took that option away from you guys. We get paid first. If you are making payments during the summer, because you know you have that big bill coming up, we will see that and we will only take what we need to pay up for the fall term. And then we'll do the same thing in the winter term. The third point, you are responsible to ensure that your school fees are paid in full. So that means you're going to be monitoring your OSAP to make sure that your funding is released each term. You're also going to be monitoring your student account here at Trent. So when you get billed, you're going to realize how much you have to pay each term. You're going to see your awesome scholarships gone on. You've made your tuition deposit. And then you're going to see OSAP go ahead and pay. So you're going to watch that to make sure that your school fees are paid because maybe something's missing. Maybe that OSAP didn't get applied. Maybe you missed a documentation, or maybe the scholarship didn't quite make it onto the account. What you want to do is just make sure you're on top of your money. So 5 things to remember about OSAP. You receive 60% in the fall and 40% in the winter. So that means you want to budget. There are a lot of wonderful budget apps that you can get. Any changes must be reported to OSAP. So if you change your course load or your income or even that living, you can go ahead and complete the OSAP change form through your MyTrent portal. If we require additional documentation from you, we will reach out to you and communicate with you so that you're getting everything you need into our office so we can get it updated for you. You must apply for OSAP every year. So it doesn't just cycle over for you because your financial need could change. So the OSAP application opens every summer before your September start. So for 25-26, it will open in April, end of April, early May. To be full-time for OSAP, you must always be in at least 1.5 credits per term, unless you are a student with a registered disability on OSAP, then you can go a little bit lower, but the minimum requirement is 1.5 credits per term. It will get a little bit confusing because Trent will say that you're part-time. So just remember that Trent and OSAP are a little bit different. 1.5 credits for OSAP is the minimum you can be for full-time. And the last point, if you get one of our super awesome scholarships, whether it's a prestigious at 7,500 or if it's our 95 plus and you're getting full tuition, you do not need to report that to OSAP. Our office will go ahead and do that for you. We don't want you duplicating it because it will affect your OSAP assessment. So just keep that in mind that we'll go ahead and get that reported for you. Some other resources to consider. So you got that super awesome scholarship. You're getting all that wonderful bursary money. You're a City of Peterborough High School graduate who filled out our form, and you are getting that City of Peterborough Award as well. And you're getting the, let's say, Joyce Family Foundation. So you're getting all this wonderful money, but there is a bunch of money outside of Trent as well. If you have an RESP, so a Registered Education Savings Plan, now is the time to start chatting with your parents. You want to know how much is in there. How are you going to allocate it over your studies? Maybe you are choosing to live on campus here at Trent and you want to take a little bit more out in that first year to help cover that cost. So that would be the conversations you're having. Once you get registered into your classes, so in June and July, you will then request a verification of enrollment from our registrar's office, and that's what you'll be providing to the holder of the RESP. A summer job, you're going to hear it. You need to work during the summer. The harder you work during the summer, hopefully it makes it a little bit easier for when you are in studies. So the harder you hustle when you're not in school, maybe when you get here, you only need to work 5 or 10 hours a week just to help with groceries or maintain your entertainment, but you do need to work. Scholar Tree, Scholarships Canada, Wyconic, Grant Me, disabilityawards.ca. You hear there's all kinds of money that goes unclaimed. That's these websites. There are a bunch of businesses and companies that want to give money to students going into post-secondary, and they used to have to go around and give us an application saying, please share with your environmental students or your business students. They've made it easy for you now, and they put their application onto those websites like Scholarships Canada. You can go ahead, create a profile, and just start applying. I might be able to only give you one scholarship, but you can get as many as possible from those external websites. So definitely take some time. If you have time to go down the TikTok rabbit hole or Facebook Reels or whatever it happens to be, you have time to go ahead and create that profile on those databases and start applying for things. Higheredpoints.com is a relatively new one. What that does is if you have somebody who has Aeroplan points and wants to help you out, they can actually convert them into tuition dollars. So you can go on to higheredpoints.com and read up about that program. Trent does participate in that program. Your guidance department, if you're coming from high school, there is no reason that you should not be popping into that guidance department. Have a conversation with them. They know about local opportunities. They will also have their own awards and prizes for you graduating students that they want you to apply for. So definitely have that conversation with them. The hands with the money is one of my favorite ones. It's gifts and contributions. So you're going to have a lot of money conversations coming up. I showed you that big number. Now you're going to start to chip away at it with scholarships and bursaries, but you also want to have conversations with your parents. Are they helping you with your post-secondary? Is it going to be through an RESP? If so, yes, how much is in there? Christmas is coming up. Maybe you have a birthday. Ask for gift cards. They're awesome. You can get Amazon gift cards, Walmart gift cards, bookstore gift cards, anything that is going to chip away at that big number that you have coming up in September is an amazing resource for you. Maybe the conversation is with your parents. Are they going to give you an allowance? Maybe they don't have an RESP, but they're going to help you with your rent or they're going to help you with your groceries. So try and have all of those conversations now so you can build that budget ahead of time and you can start saving. The Career Center. You may not want a job right away, but you should at least know where the Career Center lives. They will have those job postings for on campus and they'll know of off campus opportunities as well. But they can also help you with your cover letter, your interview skills, your resume. All of that will live within that Career Center and those TWSP job postings. So make sure you know where they live so you can tap into that resource when you are ready for it. Now, the last thing on the screen, the student line of credit. We don't always recommend a student line of credit. It's not that we're against it, but the first question we ask is, did you try OSAP first? The student line of credit is all loan. So that means you have to repay every single penny of that student line of credit. OSAP is a combination of loans and grants. So you are only repaying that loan portion. The student line of credit, you are going to know when your next payment is due before you leave that bank. They're already going to give that to you. So yes, you are repaying it while you are in school, where with OSAP, you are not required to make any payments until 6 months after you cease to be a full-time student. So that means if your program is 4 years and you are a full-time student and you apply for OSAP every single year, you will need to make a payment until the November of your final year. Okay. A student line of credit, they are going to start calculating interest the second your pen comes off that paper. That's not the case with OSAP. That interest is not going to get calculated until 6 months after you cease to be a full-time student. The other thing with a student line of credit, it requires a cosigner, mom, dad, aunt, uncle. Somebody's going to vouch for you and say, yeah, they're totally good for it. They're totally going to repay that. That's not the case with OSAP. If you don't make your payment to a student line of credit, they're going to go after that cosigner. They will now incur that debt and that will be their responsibility to make that payment. That is not the case with OSAP. It is your debt and your debt alone. So if you have to consider a student line of credit, do OSAP first, then go ahead and shop around. Do not feel the pressure to take it from TD just because that's where you bank. Go to Scotia, go to Royal, understand the terms, make sure you know when is my payment due, how much interest, know all of that before you sign on the dotted line. If you are still struggling and you want to set up a payment plan, we do have that option here at Trent as well. You can typically register in, I believe it's the beginning of August, so the fall term, once you get that fall bill, and it's all done online. So you would just reach out to our payment plan office and you could just email them at campuspayment@trentu.ca. One of the last screens, how to prepare. So you're all doing it. That's awesome. It looks like 182 of you are here. So super cool. You got to start planning ahead. So you have that big number coming up in September. What you're going to do, you're going to use that aid estimator. You're going to apply for OSAP when the application opens the end of April, early May, so you can get an accurate assessment. You just want to keep it in mind that OSAP is not designed to cover all of your expenses. So that's why we're going to create that budget. We're going to have all those conversations with our parents. We're going to look at getting gift cards. We're going to work all summer. We're looking at all the external opportunities. We're checking out Trent's scholarship offers. We're checking out Trent's bursary applications. We are applying for everything because we want to know that we've tried everything so that we can get some of that free money to help pay down that big bill that we have coming. Another point there, be aware of how you're spending. It's a very tap society. So we tap everywhere we go and we don't realize how much we've spent until we actually log in and take a look at our bank accounts. So maybe having Starbucks every single day right now is great because you don't have rent to pay for or tuition. But when you do have that expense, maybe you have a really crappy class on Friday and your Starbucks is still the thing that gets you through that class. So we don't want you to give up everything. You might just have to curb it a little bit. And the last point, come chat with us. Me, Linnea, Steph, Taylor, we're all in the office. And what we want to do is make sure that you are sitting in class, not stressed about money. You should be focused on your academics. Here's what happens a lot of the times too. Students will come in, they'll check their OSAP status with us and we're just chatting. And then we remind them of the bursary application. They leave, they apply, they get $500. They wouldn't have had that had they not just come and chatted with us. So we're not scary. We want to give you money. We want to make sure that you're getting as much free money as possible while you're here at Trent. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat. We still have about 20 minutes, which is awesome. If you don't think of any questions right now in the chat, that's okay. You can call us. You can chat with any financial aid office about OSAP in general. Definitely give us a call to chat about our bursary program and our scholarships. You can email us as well, and you can see that you can reach out to our admissions team if you have any questions about Trent. So that is it for me, short and sweet. So I will stop sharing my screen, and then I don't know if we have some questions in the chat that we want to go through.
We certainly do, and we've had a lot of questions come in during your presentation that Linnea and Steph have been amazing at answering. Thank you so
Great.
much, Danielle. That was a lot of really, really fantastic information, and I hope you all find that valuable. I know I found this presentation when I was coming to Trent super duper informative. One thing I'd really emphasize for all of you folks is don't just let your parents do all this process for you. University is a time where you're really becoming independent. You're stepping into adulthood. It can be a little intimidating. There's a lot to do. I'm not saying don't get support from your supporters, but don't just have them fill out your OSAP application for you.
Oh
Actually
gosh,
go
no.
through that yourself and
No.
do it yourself. It's a
We will
really,
tell
really
you right away that if you come into my office with your parent or your supporter, I'm talking to you. Your parent is a set of ears. It's not that I'm ignoring them. It is your application. It is your journey. It is your funding. So you should be the one that is understanding it. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So really put in that work yourself. I know it takes a little bit of time, but it's something that's super duper important to know. And then I'd say the other key takeaway that I really got from that, Danielle, was apply, apply, apply. When
Yes.
there are scholarships, when there are bursaries, put in those applications because you never know. Don't deny yourself the opportunity of getting some money to help you pay for your education.
Yeah, and you do not have to have accepted your offer to apply for any of our entrance opportunities. So the prestigious scholarship, you don't have to have accepted your offer. Maybe when I give you a $7,500 scholarship, that is when you're going to accept your offer because now that's super awesome. You have that guaranteed money. But don't ever think that you have to wait. The same for OSAP. You do not have to have accepted your offer to apply for OSAP. We want you to have those financials before you're making that decision because that plays a big part of it.
Absolutely. It really, really does. Alrighty, and that was actually the perfect point for you to make because that was the answer to my first question. Do you have to accept your offer to apply for scholarships? So that's fantastic. That one is done. I hope that is helpful. Now we do have some questions when it comes to OSAP particularly that hopefully you can help with.
Yeah.
One student's asking if learning disabilities count as disabilities for OSAP.
It does. So there would be a form that you need to complete, the disability verification form, and you would take it to your doctor and you would fill out section A and they would fill out section B. So they do have an option there to indicate it as either a permanent or persistent and prolonged or not. right? Girls are nodding. Yes. So, yeah. So once you get that form, you will go ahead and take it to your doctor and you'll have it completed by them and then updated by the financial aid office on your OSAP.
Perfect. Another question about OSAP that might be really great given that we're increasing the number of co-op programs we offer. If
Mhm.
somebody is on a co-op term, do they still qualify to apply for OSAP and other scholarships and bursaries?
They do. So they can
Wonderful.
still apply for OSAP. Steph was just with me in a call about this today. Yes, they can still do it. It may not be what they're expecting just because they're not paying the same tuition here, but they can certainly apply for OSAP and they can apply for bursaries.
Wonderful. There you go. You're going to be getting OSAP. You might be getting some bursaries,
Oh, and you
maybe
get your
getting,
scholarship too. So if you have an
there you
entrance
go.
scholarship and you go on your work term, you're still eligible for your scholarship in that term.
That's awesome. And you'll be making money from working. So
Right?
that's perfect.
Beautiful all around.
And if somebody goes abroad or whether it's through a study abroad program or if they're studying a program that has an international component in it, would OSAP, well, would they still be eligible to receive OSAP during that time?
Yeah, yeah, they can still apply for OSAP if you are going through one of our study abroad programs. You're still paying Trent, but you would be on exchange. You can apply for OSAP. If you're looking at an institution that's not affiliated with us, so you're doing a separate program, you can check OSAP to make sure that school is eligible, but you would still apply for OSAP through the OSAP portal.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, going away from OSAP into scholarships and bursaries for a little bit.
Mhm.
If somebody has or will defer their decision to accept and either take a gap year and work for a little bit, but they have qualified for scholarships and bursaries, can
Mhm.
those be deferred as well?
Yes. So it just means that when the student is going to return to the studies, so if you get one of our scholarships in 25, 26, but you've opted to return or come rather, then in the 26, 27 year, we can defer your scholarship as long as you don't go to another institution. So you can't go study someplace else. We want you to come back here. You would just have to identify yourself to us the summer before. So when you get registered in your classes for that year, you would just need to let our office know by completing our scholarship review form. And that triggers us to go ahead and reinstate your scholarship for that year.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And then again, with when a student's coming to Trent, if their average increases before coming to Trent, does
Mhm.
the entrance scholarship change along with that? And will they be notified about that change if that's the case?
Yes. So the first time that I look at high school students is going to be in March, and some transfer students if I have enough of information at that time. I'll send you something what's called a scholarship guarantee. So if you get a guarantee from our office, it means that we've locked you in. So if I see that your calculated average at that time is, let's say, an 87, we're going to lock you in at that scholarship value. You'll get an email from us letting you know, and it's guaranteed. So even if your grades went down and brought you down into the 80 bracket, we've already locked you in at the 85 bracket. Now, if I check you again, because I am going to check all students again at the end of July and August while we get all of the final grades in, and now you're up over 90, then your scholarship value will go up. So we do look at you a couple times during the term. Once we get those final grades, that will be what your final scholarship offer is.
That's awesome. There you go. Study hard,
Yeah.
study hard. You
The
can
harder
get
you
more
work in high
money.
school, the higher that admission average, the better your scholarship is.
That's perfect. And that's going to be a weight off your shoulder, as well as any of
Mhm.
your supporters who might be contributing to your education fund. So I'm sure everyone would appreciate the hard work that you put in. Um, Sierra's asking if they need a letter of recommendation for any of our scholarships.
Nope. Nope. Our prestigious scholarships is all you. So you're going to go on there, you're going to do a personal statement. You're going to tell us all about your volunteer experience, those high school hours, guess our community hours, but it's all you. So you are just you're going to brag. Tell us everything. Like honestly, make sure that your application stands out more. Like if you're really trying for our Board of Governors, which is a leadership scholarship, then you really should be highlighting all of your leadership qualities. So try and keep that in mind. Read the terms of each scholarship and understand what we're looking for and make sure that you're hitting on all those points. But yeah, no reference letters, just you.
Great. And let's say somebody is a super high achieving student. They're
Mhm.
receiving, they're getting a 95% plus, so they're going to be getting free first year tuition.
Yep.
Um, are they also eligible to get a prestigious scholarship on top of that?
So no, it'll be one or the other. If you get 95 plus, but you've applied for prestigious and you get prestigious, you will still get full tuition that first year. So prestigious being 7,500, that is split over the 2 terms. So I'm saying it wrong. No, yes, hold on. I'm wrong. If you get prestigious, you are awesome. You're getting that. So you can't get entrance and you can't get prestigious. I'm thinking of the bracket below is what I'm thinking of. It's all new. I'm still trying to figure it all out until I start processing it. But if you get prestigious, you can't have entrance. But it doesn't mean that you can't get one of our departmental scholarships. We have a lot that are spread out through the campus from different departments. So you just can only get one from me, but you might get another one from on campus someplace else.
Awesome. All right. And can transfer students get these scholarships that you've been talking about as well?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Perfect.
Long
Hearing a
as
lot
we
of
have
yeses to
all those
questions.
degrees. Yeah. So our admissions team will kind of do that first assessment to let you know that how you're transferring in. But yeah, if you're eligible, then you are eligible to apply for the prestigious, and you're also going to be automatically considered for an entrance scholarship.
Great. All right. Do-do-do. So somebody's asking, and I can't quite recall if you chatted about any athletic scholarships, but they're wondering, I'm not sure how much you know about these,
Yep.
but they're wondering if you could apply for those even if your sport's not offered at Trent.
So I don't know a lot about athletic scholarships because they are done by the department. So it is best to email them directly. I do know they have the green and white scholarship, all administered through athletics. So they would be the best people to talk to. They'll tell you exactly what you need to qualify. I do think it has to be a sport here at Trent to be considered for it, but definitely reach out to them because they know about scholarship and bursary opportunities too.
Awesome. All right. Ooh, some more longer questions coming in. Let me read through these really quick. Okay, this is a good question. Can being in one of the paid co-op programs impact any scholarships or bursaries or OSAP or how money is distributed?
It can only because you're earning income and you're not paying the same tuition fees that you would be if you were studying in our courses. You're now in a placement or a co-op. So the charges are a little bit different. And that's part of the OSAP assessment is they do ask us to provide that information. So we can't say that you're not going to get OSAP, but we say go ahead and apply. It's for that term, and OSAP will run its assessment based off of those tuition numbers and that income number. It doesn't mean that you're not eligible for a bursary. I can't say yes or no, but you should still be applying, even if you are in your co-op term. And if you have a scholarship, well, we do honor that. So if you are on your co-op term and you have an entrance scholarship and we can see that your co-op term is full-time, then we do honor that scholarship and you would receive it during that term.
Great. And can you use scholarships to help pay for residence?
Yeah. So scholarships will be applied onto your student account. So any balance that you have due at that time, it will just go against that balance, whether it's residence, your meal plan, your tuition, it just goes against any balance due.
Awesome. And that's the same thing for any scholarships that are from external to Trent, right?
Yeah, for sure. It just goes right onto your Trent account. And then if you've already paid and you have that credit, you can use it for winter term. Or in our case, you can request a refund and then you can use your scholarship to help pay for groceries or rent or whatever other expense you have at that time, your books, utilities, car payment.
There you go. Lots and lots of different ways to be using those scholarships if they cover your tuition and give you some extra.
Sure.
All right. Now Anthony's asking if do you get better aid from OSAP based on your grades, or is it just based on your financial need?
Just financial need. OSAP isn't going to ask you about your grades. They want you to pass your classes. So that's kind of that good standing. So if you are a full-time student, they are looking for you to pass your full-time course load, but they're not going to ask you about your grades. They just want to make sure that you're in good standing and you're passing and you're progressing through your program.
Great. All right. Do-do-do. Lots and lots of questions. A lot of them are leaning towards admissions questions at this point.
Hmm.
But before we get into those with any extra time that we do have, somebody is asking just to confirm they should apply for OSAP scholarships, bursaries, all that stuff now and not wait until they receive an acceptance.
So you can apply for the prestigious scholarship right now. That one is open. It stays open until February 16th. Entrance scholarships, you'll be automatically considered. Our entrance bursaries will open in May, so you will apply for those. And then the OSAP application will be open in May as well. You do not have to have accepted your offer to apply for any of those. So don't feel like you have to wait until you've done that. We want you to apply because if you get a great scholarship or we offer you a bursary, that might help make that decision to come to Trent because now you know that you're getting a little bit of extra money to help pay for those fees.
Right. All right, and I think I might have confused some people when I said to maybe do some OSAP applications by yourself. You can absolutely still do them with your parents' support. Super important to have that, especially if you don't know that financial information yourself. So I'd recommend going through the process yourself, actually typing in everything yourself, but you can absolutely have your parents and your supporters help you with that application. Sorry if I'm
They're just
any
passengers.
confusion.
You're
Yes.
driving, they're passengers.
Exactly. So sorry if I confused anybody. All right. Now somebody here is starting in January 2025.
Mhm.
When do bursary applications open for them?
Oh, first week of classes in January. Yeah, so
Perfect.
you'll see the in-course bursary application will open. You'll also see the first generation open and the Indigenous students. We will also have 3 scholarships that we've been given money from the ministries. So we'll have our Ontario Remembrance Scholarship, the Ontario Ukraine Scholarship, and if you're an esports person, you'll see our esports scholarship application. So all of that will be open within that first week or so of classes.
There you go. Alrighty. Good to keep in mind. Keep those dates in mind. Make sure
Yes.
you don't miss any deadlines.
And always check the financial aid page. So My Trent portal under the finances tab, that's where financial aid will post all of our applications.
Wonderful. All right. Now somebody is asking, are there jobs on campus for people who are not eligible for OSAP?
Yes. Yes. So when I talk about the work study program, there's a small number of jobs on campus specifically reserved for students who are in receipt of OSAP. It will be a requirement on the job description, but there are a bunch of jobs as well on campus for students who aren't in receipt of OSAP.
Great. And then to piggyback off the previous question before that, when do bursaries open for September 2025 starts?
So if you are a new student coming to Trent, the entrance will open in May. So you'll log onto your My Trent portal. You'll see the entrance bursary application. You'll see the general entrance, the athletic entrance, and the Joyce Family Foundation. And then when classes start in September, you'll see our in-course bursary application will open all under the finances tab.
Awesome. And it seems that you might have piqued somebody's interest with this esports scholarship.
Ah,
So they just would like a little bit more clarification about where to apply for that one once it opens.
yeah. So we get money given to us by the government, and the esports one actually kind of caught me off guard because I didn't realize we had this. And I was like, what? So we actually have like an esports team and chat with athletics, but the application does open in January. I'm not going to quote you how much or anything because between the three of them, the numbers in my head, I can't remember if it's one student or four students or if it's, I know it's a substantial amount. I know that they've given us quite a bit of money for that one. So definitely apply if you are into esports. If you're taking one of those classes, it will open in January. So within those first week of classes, if you don't see it in January, don't panic. It will be there. It might just be a week or two after, but it'll definitely be up there in January.
Awesome.
Yeah, who knew? Esports, right?
Right? Yeah.
Come on. Super cool.
Very, very cool. I know it seems like there's always scholarships for everyone, no matter your background, no matter your interests, your experiences.
I thought I didn't even know this existed at Trent. I had no idea. I was like, we have an esports team? Stop it. This is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's quite new, if I'm not wrong. Maybe just a couple of years, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, scholarships for everybody. So
Yep,
it's a
there we
different
go.
kind of athletics, right? You just got to chat with the athletics department about the esports component.
Exactly. All right. Now I know somebody has put this question in a few times, so they're very eager to get it answered. So, if let's say we're back to the prestigious scholarships and
Mhm.
full first year tuition, if they
Yep.
receive the full first year tuition for the first year at
Yep.
Trent, are
Mhm.
they then able to receive a prestigious scholarship in their upper years?
No. Unfortunately, the prestigious scholarships, you only have one opportunity to apply for them, and that's on your entrance year. So if you don't apply in your entrance year, you won't get another opportunity. So that's why we say apply. Even if you don't think that you're going to be eligible or you're not going to get it, you only get that one time on that entrance year. So if you don't get it and you do get an entrance scholarship, then you'll just be locked in on that bar for the 4 years that you are here.
Okay, there you go. Hope that helps. And then are there any specific scholarships or bursaries that you're aware of for LGBTQ plus students?
Um, so our scholarships are general. We don't have specific ones like that. We do that for a reason. It's just we hit a much larger group and we don't get into making sure that there's one specific student group that we're kind of aiming towards. The bursaries, we do have some bursaries from our donors that have some specific requirements. I don't know if it's specifically LGBTQ, but they do have some of their own donor requirements. We typically just look at, do you have financial need? Yes. Can we give you some money? Awesome. Let's try and match you to a bursary that best suits you. So we do try and keep a lot of them pretty general. But if there is a requirement, it would be a donor's specified requirement.
Perfect. All right, and then back to the procedure scholarship for tuition. If somebody were to be in that situation where they applied for a prestigious scholarship, they received it, but then they also
Mhm,
have that free tuition, do they have
mhm.
the option to choose which one they want to accept?
Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to choose the higher one. So if it's prestigious, you're going to take the prestigious at the 7,500. It's going to cover your tuition for sure and most of your fees. So yeah, that would be the one over the full tuition.
Wonderful. And just to wrap up, would you be able to go over the new additions for scholarships just one more time, that new scholarship table that we got, as well as any bursaries and those prestigious scholarships briefly?
Yeah, I will let me share my screen one last time and we'll backtrack into and I'll just pull up this screen so that you can see it. So let's go backwards real quick. Okay, so our entrance scholarships, there's no application. You're going to be automatically considered when you apply at Trent. It is your top 6 4U4M classes coming out of high school. If you have an 80% to the 84.9, it's going to be $1,500. 85 to 89.9, 2,000, then 3,000 at the 90 to 94.9, and the super awesome one at 95 plus, where you're going to get your first year tuition covered and then it will renew at $4,000 for the next 3 years of your studies. So these ones, they no application, automatically considered, and you can renew them for up to 4 years of undergraduate studies. You just have to finish 5 Trent credits with an 80% or higher. So that's the entrance ones. And then the prestigious. So these are those higher valued ones. They are application based because they are higher valued, and we are only going to give out 15 this year. You can see they start at $4,500 and they go up to $7,500. They're renewable, so up to 4 years of undergraduate studies. You are going to do the application. You do not have to have accepted your offer. It is open now through your My Trent portal, and it will remain open until February the 16th, with you being notified within a month, hopefully, of that date if you are going to be receiving one of these prestigious scholarships. So $4,500 up to $7,500. Do the application, brag about yourself, tell us everything that makes you wonderful, because we already know the grades. Now we want to know everything else, your extracurricular, your volunteer experience, your leadership, all of that. And if you get selected for one of these, you are super awesome and you are one of our prestigious scholars. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's perfect. Now, in the interest of time, we are just past 8 o'clock. We don't want to keep our panelists far too long, and we don't want to spend too much of your evening here today. I do recognize there are some questions that we didn't get to tonight, but please do feel free to contact us with those questions. If it is a question relating to scholarships, bursaries, OSAP, just financial aid, please feel free to contact our financial aid department. You can email them at financialaid@trentu.ca or stop by our campuses to see them in person. If it is an admissions question or about how I see some questions about logging into your My Trent portal, accepting offers, other admission requirements, anything like that, please feel free to contact our student recruitment team and we'd be happy to help you with those. You can email us at discovertrent@trentu.ca or discovertrentdurham@trentu.ca. Rob just put those into the chat for you, so please feel free to copy them if you do have those questions, and we'd be happy to help answer them for you. Now, thank you all so much for joining us today. I also do want to thank Danielle, Linnea, and Steph for their time. We've been getting a lot of messages in our Q&A saying that it was such a helpful session and there was so much fantastic information in it. So just wanted to let you folks know that you truly are appreciated. You share really important information with these students. And thank you again for all of you for joining us tonight and taking the time out of your evening to learn a little bit more about financial aid. With that, though, I'll let you all go. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. And again, please feel free to contact us with any questions.